name's Cassandra, and I'm a technical assistant at the National Herbarium of Canada. Day to day, I help to digitize our plant collection from the Arctic, but when I can get outside, my favorite thing to do is to go moss hunting. This summer, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to help 3 experienced moss hunters survey the moss species of the Northwest Territories along the waterfalls route. And friends, I have to tell you, while I was there, I hit the peak highlight of my early moss hunting career. I found dung moss. The rare, the elusive dung moss. So elusive, in fact, I just barely managed to snap that blurry photo of it before it. No, the pictures get better, I promise. So this is why I was so excited. Dung mosses are a group of species of moss that only grow on dung. Okay, well, some kinds only grow on dead things or dung that's made of dead things. Each species of dung moss is specialized to grow on a particular type of dung or carrion at a specific time of the summer, usually only in cold wetlands. So you can see why these things could be so elusive, given that the surfaces that they grow on are so spatially rare. But not only that, they also don't last very long in the environment. Obviously, dung gets cycled into the soil, so this poses a challenge for dung mosses, which have to find a way to continue to grow on surfaces that are constantly appearing and disappearing. So what happens when dung moss needs to jump ship? I said ship. Well, when most other species of moss need to go from one habitat to a new habitat, they grow these long stalks with capsules on top, and those capsules produce spores that rely on wind to take them away from their parent moss patch to colonize a new one. And if they find an appropriate substrate, they grow into a new moss colony. But the problem with wind is it only takes the spores in the direction that the wind goes, and it doesn't take them very far. Research shows that the odds of them making it more than a few meters are actually incredibly low. Now, when you think about what kind of challenge that poses to something like dung moss that has to grow on these tiny pinpoints in the landscape that can be up to hundreds of meters away, well, it actually manages to do that, as crazy as it sounds. They can be throughout an entire boreal landscape, but the trick is they don't rely on wind. Dung mosses use flies. Dung mosses have become experts at hitchhiking on flies. Their capsules produce these odors that mimic the smell of a fresh dung pile, or they produce these gorgeous parasols that no fly could resist landing on. Now, once the fly gets there, it very quickly realizes there's nothing there for it. There's no dung that it can lay its eggs in. It's just a smelly landing pad. So mildly annoyed, it flies off to find a real dung pile. But the trick has already worked. The capsules of dung moss exude these sticky spores out that sit on top of the capsule. And when the fly lands, the spores stick all over it. And then when it goes to fly off to a new dung patch and finds it and lands, the spores are thereby deposited into the dung moss's new home, where it can then grow and form a new colony. Out of all the plants that don't produce seeds, including ferns, quillworts, mosses, seaweeds, dung mosses are the only group that are known to actively recruit insects for spore dispersal. And in fact, research suggests that different species of dung moss actually specialize to attract different species of flies, much the same way that flowers are evolved to attract different species of pollinators. So that's just those are 2 reasons why I think dung mosses are so exciting, and hopefully I can convince you that they're exciting as well. But if I haven't convinced you yet, I will give you one more reason why I think dung moss is so amazing. I don't know, you may have noticed from my slides so far, dung moss is drop dead gorgeous. Just look at it. These capsules shine out like fine porcelain vases and plates against the soft green cushion of the leaves, all growing on top of something that came out of an animal's rear end. And there's something sort of reassuring in the fact that something so beautiful can grow on top of something that many people consider unpleasant. From waste comes beauty. And I feel like that's kind of wise of dung moss. You know, maybe I feel like they would give pretty good life advice if you ask them, because I feel like this is the life advice that they would give you. They would say, listen, sometimes life is going to drop a number 2 on you, and It's not going to feel good, but if you can take advantage of it and grow and use it to grow, you can shine out in your own weird and wonderful way for the whole world to see. Thank you.